Hello again and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kathy Jane and I wanted to talk about how I passed my PHR exam in this YouTube video. And I'm not talking very loud because everyone is asleep in my house. And so I might sound a little quieter. Hopefully you can hear me though, since I added the microphone here. So I recently passed my PHR as of November 19th. And I'm really excited about it. And I thought I could share a few simple things that I did to help me pass in case any of you out there are going to be taking your exam, and hopefully this can help you. So first of all, I do want to say that I actually did try passing my exam back in 2019, and I did have less HR experience. I was still progressing in my career. I just didn't have any business partner experience, and I failed, and I felt really horrible about that. So now in 2025, I took my PHR exam again, and I passed with flying colors. And I know it's in part because I waited to take my exam when I was a little further in my career. So that would be my first recommendation is, and I realize this may not fit all of you. Some of you may be able to pass it with little experience or just the experience and knowledge that you have, and you may pass it. I'm so happy for you if that's you. But if not, if you're like me, if you're like me, it's going to take you a little more time to absorb and learn that information, and that's okay. And if you're that type of learner, then waiting to take your PHR exam is going to be great. The way that that helped me is obviously I got real life experience and things just came together better for me. I understood it a lot better than I did before. A lot of the PHR exam, from what I noticed from my personal experience, it revolves around labor laws, talks a lot about unions, and just back then I just didn't have a lot of experience with that because I wasn't in like a generalist or a business partner role. I was an analyst, I was a recruiter. So until I got my business partner experience, that really didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And lucky for me, I actually did get a job with the union. And so that really helped me pass my PHR exam, knowing actually how unions work. So that was super helpful. So if you wait to take your PHR exam, there's no shame in that. And you don't need to compare yourself to others. That's okay because the PHR exam or whatever exam you're taking for HR, they're really expensive. So it's okay to wait to make sure you pass the first time. The second thing that I think really helped me out was I signed up for a like a PHR practice course. And I'm very fortunate that I have an employer that not only paid for my exam, but they paid for me to take this course and they paid for me to have these materials. When I took my PHR exam initially in 2019, my employer said that they did not pay for any of that stuff. So at the time, I didn't have a whole lot of money. I was still the sole breadwinner for my home, and it was really hard to pay for stuff like that. So I couldn't afford all the study materials and I couldn't afford the course at the time. So now that I had an employer, which I do have now, an employer that will pay for those things for me, that was so helpful to have. The course was just it was through like a local HR expert that's very well known in my area, and I took the course and it was awesome. Um, it was a little overwhelming because it was a 6 week course and it was 4 hours once a week. And so it was just kind of like a cram session. I still remembered the key terms that they mentioned in the course. And after the course, I was able to study like those key things that they said were for sure on the exam. So that course helped me in that way. It also helped me make connections with other HR professionals. It was so cool because after the course, we all got together and we continued to study together and make appointments together, like virtually. And we shared thoughts and advice via text and like study materials via text. And that was so cool. And I just remember our own study sessions after the course, and we would just talk about the different exams that we were all signed up to take, because everyone was signed up to take a different HR exam. And the course luckily covered all the materials for all the exams. So we were able to talk about that. We were able to talk about what we were most worried about. We were able to talk about terms that, um, we wanted to study more. We did flashcards together. It was really cool. So I definitely would recommend a course, and hopefully you have an employer that will help pay for those things, because it'll just make you a stronger professional for the company that you're working for. And obviously, it'll make you stronger as well. So I took the advice from my course that I took, and the advice given was to get a certain set of study materials from the website called HRCP.com. And the set that I purchased also came with practice exams. So I'm going to put that in the link below in my video so that you can see what I purchased. And it was the $375 set that I personally bought. And that was sufficient for me. But what I studied most is I studied the flashcards most. Like when I take the train to work, so I studied the flashcards most of the time on the train. And I also took practice exams while I was at work on my breaks to study for the exam and to study for the exam on the train. So the books are great, but don't let those overwhelm you. Look at the books for topics that are mainly covered in the PHR exam, and you can find out what those topics are that are mainly covered in the PHR exam by going to the HRCI website and do the practice exams. Practice exams help me so much. The great thing about the practice exams is that you can take it, and then it allows you to look at the results and figure out why you got those wrong, and then it shares with you feedback. So I looked at all the feedback on all the questions I got wrong, and I was able to study that feedback too, and study the topics from the questions that I got wrong. So that was so helpful for me to do. So I want to emphasize that what helped me was studying the topics that not only did I know least about, but I also wanted to focus on the main topics that were covered in the exam. So as you'll see, the exam is split up, and under different topics, and there's larger portions for certain things like labor laws and the PHR. That's a large portion of the exam. So you want to focus on those parts that have the most questions in the exam, because that's a large part of your score. So that's what I did, and that helped me out a lot. Lastly, what also helped me in my study venture were AI tools like ChatGPT or Copilot. Those are really helpful. Now, you have to be careful with those because I realize that not everything that AI says is going to be correct. But if you use it properly, like everyone says, use it as an assistant, and that's really true. Using it to assist me in my study time really helped. So, for example, when I was on the train and I would look at the flashcards, there's a lot of those terms that even though I've been in HR for over 13 years, I haven't heard of those terms before. Some of them are actually pretty old terms as well. So I actually used ChatGPT or Copilot to look those things up and to review definitions. And I also used AI to help me practice. Like it would give me practice questions, and I just asked it to give me those practice questions one at a time. Because if you don't, then at least from my experience, when I said, can you give me 10 practice questions focused on labor relations, then it would just give me all the questions all at once. And so what I had to do is I had to say, hey, can you please give me practice questions for the PHR exam focused on labor laws, and give those to me one at a time and allow me to guess. And that really helped me because then the AI tool would just give me the questions one at a time, and I was able to guess. And if I got it wrong, then I would ask why, and I would dissect it using that tool. So I combined the AI with the flashcards, with the books, with the practice exam. So it was my assistant. It wasn't my main thing that I just said, oh yeah, I'm going to base everything on AI. I literally used it to assist me. So even with the practice exams, I would look over my results on the train and I would dissect those using AI as well. So that really helped me. And that's what I did. And I just studied in my free time. I didn't try to obsess and overwhelm myself. I just include study if for any reason I had some downtime. I just pulled out my flashcards and I started looking at those. So I actually, they'll, so for example, for the PHR exam, they'll let you schedule out so many months. And I used the maximum time that they would let me schedule it out. And so that's why I didn't feel rushed. I felt like other people that signed up for the exam that were part of my study group felt really rushed because they scheduled their exams like in 1 to 2 months after they scheduled it. And I thought, I'm going to take the maximum time that they'll allow me to take to, to study and pass for the exam. So that's all that I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this can help some of you to find out more information on HR or my life as a breadwinning mom. You can subscribe and you can continue to watch my videos. And I'm really appreciative of all your support. And I hope you have a great day.